Have you ever jolted awake in the middle of the night, your heart pounding so hard you could feel it in your throat? A single image or feeling seared into your mind, and yet you couldn't move. You're fully conscious, your eyes are open, but your body is paralyzed, weighted down by an invisible force. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. You try to move your hand, but it feels like it's made of stone. You are trapped in a prison between the world of sleep and the world of wakefulness. And in that prison, you feel a presence. It's not friendly. It's observing you. Or worse, it's pressing down on your chest, stealing your breath. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it releases you. You gasp for air, drenched in a cold sweat, and you're left staring at the ceiling, whispering to yourself, "It was just a dream." But was it? What if I told you that this experience, which science calls sleep paralysis, is only the surface-level explanation for a much deeper, more ancient phenomenon? What if, in that moment of vulnerability, the veil between our physical world and the spiritual realm becomes so thin that you are witnessing a very real battle? A battle for your mind, your peace, and your destiny. We spend 1/3 of our lives asleep. It is our most vulnerable state. Our guards are down. Our conscious mind is offline. And our spirit is laid bare. And just as a city is most vulnerable to attack in the dead of night, so too is a person. For centuries, across every culture and spiritual tradition, dreams have been recognized not just as random neural firings, but as a primary battlefield. Tonight, we aren't just going to interpret dreams. We are going to decode the warfare. We are going to uncover the 8 specific types of dreams that are the smoke signals of a spiritual attack. If you have ever woken up feeling drained instead of rested, if you have ever felt a lingering dread from a nightmare that won't shake off, or if you've ever suspected that the conflict in your life isn't just coincidental, then you need to watch this until the very end, because you cannot fight an enemy you refuse to see. The first type of dream, and often the most misunderstood, is what we call the attack of the weighted presence. This is not your typical nightmare about being chased. This is a physical, tactile assault. In your dream, you might be lying in your bed, and you see the door creak open, or a shadow detach itself from the corner of the room. It moves towards you. It doesn't run, it glides, and as it gets closer, a wave of pure, unadulterated terror washes over you. It's a fear so profound it feels like a chemical reaction in your body. Then, the weight comes. It feels like a heavy blanket, or worse, like a person is sitting on your chest. You can't breathe. You can't call out for help. The name of your spouse, your child, or even God himself feels trapped in your throat. In the spiritual economy, this is not just a nightmare. This is an assignation. This is a direct, confrontational attack. The entity or the energy attacking you is attempting to suffocate your very life force. In many traditions, this is referred to as old hag syndrome, but we need to look past the folklore. What is happening here is spiritual suffocation. The enemy is trying to silence you, to mute your voice, and to cut off your breath, which in Hebrew, ruach means both breath and spirit. To have your breath stolen in the spirit realm is to have your power stolen. If you experience this, it is a sign that someone or some spiritual force is trying to suppress your influence in the world. They don't just want you to fail. They want you to be silent. They want your light to be snuffed out. The morning after such an attack, you don't just feel tired. You feel violated. You feel as though someone has been in your room. But here's the critical distinction you must make. Was it just a random event? Or is it targeted? Ask yourself this rhetorical question. If your house was broken into, would you just clean up the mess and go back to sleep? Or would you install a security system and find out who did it? The weighted presence dream is a break-in. It's a trespassing. It's the spiritual equivalent of an intruder entering your private chambers. It is the clearest sign that you are being opposed on a level that bypasses your physical defenses. And this leads us to the second type. The second type of revealing dream is the inescapable pursuit. These are the dreams where you are being chased by a person, by an animal, by a faceless entity. You run and you run, but your legs feel like they are moving through molasses. You find doors, but they are locked. You scream, but no one hears you. You hide, but you are always found. These dreams are exhausting because they are not just about fear. They are about systemic opposition. In the spiritual context, being chased signifies that there is a problem, a person, or a pattern in your life that you are not confronting in the waking world. The chaser in your dream is often a symbol of a persistent spiritual adversary. It could represent a person who is jealous of you, someone who is praying against your progress, or a generational curse that is hunting you down. The fact that you cannot escape in the dream indicates that, in reality, you feel trapped by these circumstances. You feel like no matter what you do in your life, you change jobs, you move to a new city, you end a relationship, the same problems keep finding you. This is the spiritual mark of a hunter. There is an energy assigned to track you. This isn't a random animal wandering into your camp. This is a predator with your scent. This connects directly to the third type, which is the drowning or submersion dream. In these dreams, you are in water. It might be a calm ocean that suddenly turns into a raging tempest. It might be a tsunami that towers over you. Or you might be submerged in dark, murky water, looking up at the surface, unable to break through. Water in dreams is almost always symbolic of emotions, the subconscious, and spiritually the realm of the unseen. To be drowning is to be overwhelmed. It is a sign that you are being submerged by spiritual pressure. This isn't just about feeling stressed. This is a revelation that an enemy is trying to drown your destiny. They are trying to create so much emotional chaos, so much confusion, and so much spiritual pressure that you lose your sense of direction. When you are underwater, you can't see where you are going. You are disoriented. You panic. This is precisely the goal of the spiritual attack behind this dream. The adversary wants to flood your life with problems, financial, relational, emotional, to disorient you, so that you forget who you are and whose you are. If you constantly dream of drowning or being swept away by floods, you are fighting a battle against spiritual oppression designed to overwhelm your capacity to cope. It's an attack on your emotional stability. Have you ever woken up from a drowning dream gasping for air, only to feel a sense of despair that lingers for hours? That lingering despair is the residue of the attack. It's the evidence that a seed was planted in your spirit while you slept. This leads us to the fourth type, which is perhaps the most terrifying for many, the falling into the abyss. This is not the little jolt you get as you're drifting off to sleep. This is a full-blown dream where you are falling, often from a great height, a building, a cliff, an airplane, and you fall endlessly into a dark, bottomless pit. You may hit the ground, which is when you usually wake up with a violent start. This dream is a direct reflection of a spiritual attack on your foundation and your security. In the spiritual realm, falling represents a loss of status, a loss of grace, and a loss of protection. It symbolizes a collapse. If you are dreaming of falling, it is a declaration from the spiritual realm that someone is attempting to pull you down from your position. It could be an attack on your career, your reputation, or your standing in your family. The enemy wants you to fall from grace. He wants you to make a mistake that ruins everything you've built. The abyss represents the hopelessness that the attack is designed to create. It's the enemy whispering, "There is no bottom. There is no rescue. You will fall forever." It's an attack on your hope and your future. But understanding this is the first step to breaking the free fall. Now, we move from dreams of physical sensation to dreams of identity. The fifth type is the nakedness and shame dream. This is a classic. You find yourself in a public place, school, work, a party, and you suddenly realize you are naked, or you are inappropriately dressed. Everyone is staring at you, judging you, laughing at you. You scramble to cover yourself, but you can't find any clothes. You feel exposed, vulnerable, and humiliated. Spiritually, this dream is rarely about literal nudity. It is about the condition of your soul. It is a revelation that an enemy is trying to strip you of your covering. In a spiritual context, your clothes can represent your dignity, your reputation, your righteousness, or your protection. When you dream of being naked, it is often because someone is slandering you in the spirit realm. They are stripping you naked with their words. They are exposing your faults, real or imagined, to the spiritual ecosystem. They are working to destroy your credibility. This dream is a warning sign that you are under an attack of shame. The enemy wants you to feel unworthy, exposed, and humiliated, so that you withdraw from your purpose. A shamed person hides, and a person in hiding cannot fulfill their destiny. If you have these dreams, it is time to examine your relationships. Who in your life makes you feel small? Who is gossiping about you? Who is trying to tear down your reputation so they can feel better about themselves? Think about it. If your enemies can't touch your body, they will try to touch your name. And once your name is tarnished, your influence is gone. This obsession with identity is deeply connected to the sixth type, which is the warfare of identity theft. These are dreams where you see yourself, but something is wrong. You might look in a mirror, and your reflection is blurry. Or it's someone else. You might see yourself wearing clothes you would never wear, or having a different hairstyle, or even a different face. Sometimes, people dream that they are in their own house, but it has been remodeled into something ugly and unfamiliar. This is one of the most sophisticated forms of spiritual attack. The enemy isn't just attacking your circumstances, he is attacking your very self-concept. He wants you to forget who you are. He wants to blur the lines of your identity. Why? Because identity is the core of your power. If you don't know who you are, you can be manipulated into anyone. These dreams are revealing that there is a spiritual force trying to confuse you. They are trying to replace your true identity with a false one, an identity of failure, of shame, of insecurity, or of worthlessness. This often happens when people are envious of your specific gifts or calling. They cannot have what you have, so they try to corrupt it. They try to make you doubt yourself so much that you abandon your own path and start living a life that isn't yours. The person fighting you spiritually is trying to steal your identity and replace it with a counterfeit. The seventh type is visceral and disgusting, and it's called the dreams of defilement. In these dreams you are eating. You might be at a banquet table, but the food is rotten, or it turns into worms or insects as you try to eat it. You might be drinking water, but it's muddy or bloody. You might be offered a beautiful piece of fruit, but when you bite into it, it's full of maggots. You might even dream of being forced to eat things that are spiritually unclean or taboo in your culture or religion. This is a direct attack on your spiritual nourishment. Just as your physical body needs food to survive, your spirit needs truth, peace, and joy to thrive. A dream of defilement is a revelation that someone is trying to poison your spiritual food. They are feeding you lies. They are feeding you bitterness. They are polluting the information and the relationships that are supposed to sustain you. In a practical sense, this could be a warning about the company you keep. Are you constantly listening to gossip, negativity, or cynical talk? That is spiritual junk food. But on a deeper level, it represents a spiritual attack, where an enemy is trying to plant seeds of corruption in your spirit through your dreams. They want you to ingest something that will make you spiritually sick. If you wake up from a dream feeling disgusted or feeling a bad taste in your spirit, You have just witnessed an attempt to defile your inner world. Why would an enemy want to poison your food? Because a sick soldier cannot fight. A poisoned leader cannot guide. Finally, we arrive at the 8th type, which is the most strategic and often the hardest to detect: the dreams of stolen time and wasted effort. In these dreams, you are incredibly busy. You are working on a project, but you never finish. You are packing for a trip, but you never leave. You are running towards a destination, but the road never ends. You are trying to dial a phone number, but you can never get the digits right. You are preparing for an important meeting, but you can never find the right room. These dreams are frustrating because they are filled with futility. This is the attack of the saboteur. The enemy's goal here is not necessarily to destroy you in a dramatic way, but to make your life ineffective. He wants you to spin your wheels. He wants you to waste your energy on things that produce no fruit. He wants you to be busy, but not productive. He wants you to pour your time, your money, and your love into projects and people that drain you dry. These dreams are a spiritual mirror reflecting an attack on your purpose and your time. Time is the currency of your life. If an enemy can make you waste time, they have stolen a piece of your life that you will never get back. If you constantly dream of futility, of missed connections, of endless, pointless tasks, it's a sign that there is a spiritual force assigned to make your efforts fruitless. They are fighting your productivity. They are fighting your ability to manifest your destiny in the physical world. So, you've had these dreams. Maybe you've recognized yourself in several of these 8 categories: the weighted presence, the pursuit, the drowning, the falling, the nakedness, the identity theft, the defilement, the futility. You now know you are in a fight. But knowing you're in a fight is only half the battle. The real question is, what do you do about it? How do you move from being a victim of the night to a victor in the day? The first and most crucial step is what we call the verdict of the morning. In ancient spiritual warfare, it was understood that the first thoughts you have upon waking are the most critical. The enemy hopes the feeling of the dream, the fear, the shame, the despair, will linger and become the soundtrack for your day. He wants you to wake up feeling defeated. You must intentionally disrupt this. The moment you open your eyes, before you even move your body, you must speak. You must issue a verdict that contradicts the experience you just had. For example, if you just had a drowning dream, do not lay there and think, "I'm so overwhelmed." Instead, as you gasp for air, you must declare, "I am not submerged. I am raised up. No flood of the enemy will overtake me." If you had a dream of being naked and ashamed, you must declare, "I am clothed in dignity and strength. No weapon of shame formed against me shall prosper." You are using your voice, the most powerful weapon you possess, to build a dam against the flood of spiritual residue trying to enter your day. You are judging the dream from your waking reality, instead of letting the dream judge you. If a thief broke into your house at night, would you just let him keep the TV in the morning? No. You would call the police and take it back. You must take back your peace and your identity every morning. The second step is to investigate the open door. Spirits, energies, and attacks don't just materialize out of thin air without some form of legal right or entry point. In the spiritual realm, there is a principle of invitation. While you may not have consciously invited an attack, there may be an open door in your life that is granting access. This open door could be unrepentant sin in your life. It could be a broken relationship you refuse to forgive. Holding on to unforgiveness is like leaving your front door unlocked for bitterness to walk right in. It could be an object in your home that carries a negative spiritual history, an heirloom from a troubled relative, or art that glorifies darkness. It could be the music you listen to, or the media you consume. which shapes your spiritual atmosphere. You must conduct an honest audit of your life. Ask yourself, is there any area where I have given the enemy a foothold? Is there a secret grudge, a hidden addiction, a fear I've nurtured, an ungodly soul tie with a person from my past? These are the doors. You cannot successfully fight an external enemy while you are harboring an internal ally for that enemy. Close the doors. Repent where you need to repent. Forgive where you need to forgive. Remove what needs to be removed. This is not about being perfect. It's about being intentional about the spiritual hygiene of your life. The third step is to saturate your environment. Remember, your vulnerability is highest when you sleep. Your physical location, your bedroom, is the primary battlefield. You must transform your bedroom from a passive space into a fortified sanctuary. This isn't about superstition. It's about psychology and spiritual atmosphere. Start by being mindful of what enters your room. Do you argue with your spouse in bed and then try to sleep in that same atmosphere of strife? That strife is a spirit that will dominate your dreams. Do you scroll through social media, consuming bad news and toxic arguments, right up until the moment you close your eyes? You are feeding your spirit junk food right before it goes on patrol. Instead, create a buffer zone. An hour before sleep, lower the lights. Play music that lifts your spirit, not music that agitates your soul. Read material that is uplifting and true. You can also use physical symbols, a candle, a specific scent, as a trigger for your brain to enter a state of peace. But more importantly, use your voice. Speak words of protection over your room. Imagine a sphere of light around your home. This is called setting a watch. You are declaring that your sleep is not a free-for-all. It is a sacred, protected time. You are the guardian of your own rest. If you knew a thief was targeting your neighborhood, wouldn't you double-check your locks and turn on your lights? The thief of your destiny is targeting your sleep. Turn on your spiritual lights. The fourth step, and this is crucial for long-term victory, is to starve the fear. Fear is the frequency that the enemy broadcasts on. When you are afraid of the dreams, when you are afraid to go to sleep, when you are anxious about what you might see, you are essentially tuning your spirit to the enemy's channel. You are creating a magnetic attraction for the very thing you dread. The goal is to move from a posture of fear to a posture of authority. You must reach a point where you are not just hoping the bad dreams stop, you are commanding them to stop. You must develop what we call spiritual immunity. This immunity comes from knowing your identity. If you know you are protected, you don't fear the attacker. The dreams are just smoke, not fire. They are threats, not reality. They only have the power you give them through your fear. When you wake up, instead of trembling, you need to get to a place where you can almost laugh at the enemy's tactics. Oh, you think you can scare me with that? That was a pathetic attempt. This isn't arrogance. It's the confidence of a child who knows their father is the strongest in the neighborhood. You starve the fear by feeding your faith and your knowledge of who you are. You study. You learn. You grow so strong in your understanding of spiritual principles that the enemy's tricks become obvious and childish. Finally, the fifth step is to reclaim the night. For too long, the night has been seen as the enemy's territory. Darkness, fear, the unknown. But you must shift your perspective. The night is also a time of deep spiritual intimacy and revelation. It is when distractions are gone, and the still small voice can be heard. Your goal is to transform your dream life from a battlefield into a council chamber. You do this by, before you sleep, setting an intention. Instead of just hoping for good dreams, you can pray, "Speak to me in the night. Give me strategies. Show me the solutions to my problems. Let my sleep be a time of recharging and receiving, not fighting." This is the ultimate victory. It's when the enemy who tried to attack you finds that he cannot even get past the gate, because your mind is at peace, your heart is full of light, and your spirit is communing with a higher source. The dreams may come, but they will have no power. They will be like passing clouds, unable to drop their rain of fear on you. You will wake up refreshed, even from a tumultuous dream, because your spirit knows the truth. The battle is not yours, and the victory is already secured. So, tonight, as you lay your head on your pillow, remember what we've discussed. You are not helpless. You are not a passive victim of the night. You are a spirit, living in a body, navigating a world of both physical and spiritual realities. The 8 types of dreams are not just scary stories. They are a diagnostic tool. They are a radar system, alerting you to incoming fire. Use that radar. Pay attention to the smoke signals. But do not live in fear of them. Live in the authority of the morning. Live with the doors closed. Live in a saturated atmosphere of peace. Live without fear. And live with the intention of reclaiming the night as your own. The war for your destiny is real, but so is your capacity to win it. The battlefield is your mind, and the night is the proving ground. And now, you are no longer sleeping through the war. You are awake. You are aware. And you are armed. The question is not if the enemy will try to visit you tonight. The question is, when he arrives, will he find a victim or a warrior? Go and take